Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Terry, your favorite host and YouTuber. You might be scratching your heads and wondering, why is Terry speaking in English today? Well, here's the deal. Does it really matter? No, because I'll have subtitles in both English and Chinese, so you can stop whining about it. The truth is, no one cares which language you speak, as long as you can deliver the information and people can comprehend it. That's all it matters. Now here comes the interesting part. When I was a kid, growing up in a world where Mandarin was the main language, I found learning English to be quite challenging. But it's not really about the environment. You can argue that folks who grow up in English-speaking countries tend to speak English very well, which is not true. Just like I don't consider myself very good at speaking Mandarin either. And I've met plenty of people who grew up in Taiwan, lived their entire lives in Taiwan, never once setting foot outside, and yet they speak pretty impressive English. So that's when I realized learning a new language is not really about where you are physically. It's really about where you want to be, where you aspire to be. Just like some of my friends who have been in the US or Canada for so many years and yet they still struggle with English. And today I'm going to share some ideas on how you can level up your English skills, particularly the speaking part, which in my opinion might be the most challenging part to be decent at. Now, don't get me wrong, my English is just okay. To me, it's just a language that I somehow need to use it every day to just get through life. And if I get to pick, I would rather speak in Mandarin for the rest of my life. Why? Because Mandarin, with all of its dialects and variations, is actually a very beautiful language. Plus, I would argue it's probably 10 times more complex to learn the English, which just makes it super cool to speak. Now, here comes the secret. To become better at speaking in English, just try to talk to yourself. I remember when I first landed in Canada, my English was barely understandable. It was so bad. Especially after I got into college, it was kind of embarrassing because, I was this introverted, awkward Asian guy who couldn't speak English well, and it was quite hard for me to make any friends. So I started to talk to myself a lot actually. Because of doing that, it removes the self-consciousness. I could try to express myself without any filters and practice as if I was conversing with another person. And that turned out to be working pretty well for me. Especially sometimes I would just record myself. When you listen to your own speaking, your own recording, you can quickly identify and rectify the mistakes. And over time, you will just naturally learn and adapt faster because you're directly in your own feedback loop. I am an introverted person, so I don't really enjoy talking to people, but it has been working pretty well for me for many years. And I still talk to myself these days, in English actually, because I'm used to it. Now, if the idea of speaking to yourself feels a bit strange, or if you believe that you could benefit from real-time guidance and corrections, then Cambly could be the ideal solution for you. And I would like to thank Cambly for sponsoring today's video. As many of you might already be aware, Cambly is an innovative online platform dedicated to English learning. From my personal experience using Cambly, the tutors are really spot on. They have caught and helped me correct tiny details in my speech that I didn't even notice. Here you can schedule live video sessions with some of the finest native English speaking tutors available. Now let me just show you how straightforward it is to book a one-on-one session with a tutor and begin practicing your English speaking right away. Alright, first what you want to do is go to cambly.com. And over here you can see a list of tutors that you can pick from. And what I really like about Cambly is you can select a category. For example, I'm an engineer, so I can practice with someone who has, engineering background. And for example, if you're looking to improve your TOEFL skill, you can just click on TOEFL and then it will filter a list of tutors based on their background for you. And there's another cool feature I like to show you is the online tab. So over here you can actually see a list of tutors who are actually online, and you can just click on call and you're able to connect to a tutor right away without having to wait or schedule for a time. This way you don't really have to schedule ahead of time, and it works pretty well for people like me with a very packed calendar. And also you can just filter by the accent. If you like someone with a British accent, you can just click on that and it will show you all the tutors with a British accent. And of course you can filter by the lesson level. There's another feature that's pretty cool is that after you're done with your session, you can go to the history and you can see all your previous sessions here, and you can click on any one of them and just watch the playback and review it. You can come back and do this at any given time, which is pretty useful. Now I have a lesson coming up, so let's join the session.
So, with some common idioms in business, can I ask you to read each of these sentences and just see how you feel about the idioms, if you're familiar with all of the idioms or if there are any that are confusing?
Sure. We needed to raise $1 million to invest in the marketing plan. Unfortunately, we came out short. Came out short. it means that you were supposed to raise, you wanted to raise 1 million, but you did not. And you raised a certain amount that's below 1 million, something like that.
That's correct.
Jack took a low-paying job at a large firm just to get a foot in the door.
The one thing I really like about idioms is that it builds a picture in your mind of these things. So to get a foot through the door, often with business or with anything else around us, we say, you know, there's a door open for this, and perhaps I can get in here, or perhaps I can. Often they say the door starts closing when the opportunity starts slipping away, and you're like, okay, I might not be able to do this. So to get a foot in the door, it's like you're jamming your foot in there before it closes, so you can just get in and deal with the rest later.
So let's talk about accents. I've got one. You probably got one too. I know a lot of people are working really hard to just try to get rid of it. Maybe they're just trying to pretend to be American or British and thinking that's cool. Especially in Asian culture, the society often perpetuates this misleading notion that being born in America or maybe some Western countries is associated with a higher social status or maybe a wealthier family background, which is completely bullshit. Accents are beautiful. You really shouldn't be envious of other people who speak English with an American accent and call themselves accent-free. The monotonic way of speaking a language is just plain boring. Accents are what make a language rich and vibrant. Imagine you're living in a city where everyone is wearing the same outfit, the same hairstyle, the same everything. Sounds pretty boring, doesn't it? I wouldn't want to live in a city like that. I'll probably just move out. So yeah, you should be happy that you have an accent and you're different from a lot of people. In fact, you should probably focus on the correctness and practicality of speaking English, as opposed to worrying about your accent, which is probably the least of your concern and has nothing to do with whether you speak good English or not. By the way, Cambly has recently introduced a new learning format, the group classes. The beauty of this group session is that they provide you with the opportunity to not only learn from a native tutor, but also interact with fellow students. It's pretty much like studying abroad, except you get to experience it all from the comfort of your own home. Personally, I quite like these group lessons because they take me back to my school days. And what really sets Cambly apart is the option to select tutors based on shared interests. For example, if you're keen on enhancing your English in a professional business context, you can choose a tutor who specializes in business. In my case, I managed to find a tutor from the tech industry, so we had plenty to discuss, which really made learning English so much more engaging and enjoyable. So yeah, if you want to improve English, I would challenge you to speak to yourself. Spend maybe like 10-15 minutes a day before you go to bed. Record it and listen back to it. And now you have access to tools like ChatGPT, which can tell you exactly how to structure your sentence correctly using common phrases and idioms. If you're not sure what to talk to yourself about, here's what I would recommend. Imagine you own a YouTube channel, and I'm sure there's something in life that you would like to share with other people. It can be anything or as simple as what's interesting or popping up today. Talk about what happened today or talk about a business idea that you want to share with your audience. And the beauty of doing this is you don't have to worry about what people think of you. You can just focus on yourself and express your ideas and thoughts. Just be confident and don't be afraid of making any mistakes. And take your time to really think through the words and phrases that you want to use. Alright, that will do for me. And if you find this video helpful, you can just smash that like button because it will only take you a quarter of a second. But it did cost Cambly a lot of money to sponsor this video. So yeah, please go check them out. Right now, Cambly is generously offering a complimentary 15 minutes lessons within the first 14 days of your sign up. And guess what? If you use my promotional code during your purchase, you can take advantage of an incredible 50% discount on their annual plan. On average, each tutoring session will cost you less than $4. I will have the promo code and link down below. Make sure to go check it out, and I will see you next time.